Now, tomorrow, that is the 24th of January, the world will be commemorating the International Day of Education, the theme being Learning for Lasting Peace. Now, later on in this broadcast, I'll be hosting Penina Jerono, a child protection and a safeguarding program officer at the World Vision Kenya, will help us have an overview of Kenya's education sector. A very good evening to you and welcome to Hope TV Newswatch on this 23rd day of 2024. My name is Kennedy Kimani. Now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has lauded members of the County Assembly of Nyandarua County following their efforts to end the consumption of illicit liquor and drug abuse in the county. The MCAs have meanwhile enacted the new Nyandarua County Alcoholic Drinks Act 2023, which aims to end the uptake of illicit liquor in the county. Gachagua spoke after meeting the MCAs at his current residence in Nairobi, led by Nyandarua Governor Badilisha Kiari. Gloria Musimbi begins our bulletin with the following report.
Nyandarua County Assembly has now become the first county assembly to pass a bill to support the renewed fight against illicit alcohol drinks, drugs and substance abuse spearheaded by the Deputy President. Addressing the press after a meeting with the Nyandarua MCAs at his official residence, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua lauded Nyandarua MCAs for enacting the law, which was signed by Nyandarua Governor Badilisha Kiari, noting that the move will control the alcohol being sold.
I don't think there is any need for any leader to lead a drunken population. I don't think there is any pride for me to be deputy president and everybody where I go, they are all staggering and they are sleeping in ditches. I would like to lead sober people, dignified people. Because the problem we're having, we did not have sufficient laws to deal with this problem. And we were having problem with the office of the DPP, the DCI, because of lack of sufficient laws.
The law establishes that the County Alcoholic Drinks Regulation and Management Committee that will be tasked with streamlining the issuance of licenses for the manufacture, distribution and sale of any alcoholic drink in the devolved unit. The Act also establishes the Sub-County Alcoholic Drinks Regulation Committee that will be in charge of issuance of licenses in the sub-counties. The law also prohibits transportation of alcoholic drinks between 6 p.m. and 8 a.m. The Nyandarua leaders have pledged to work hand in hand with the county government and local leaders to ensure the menace bedeviling the youth in Nyandarua is curbed.
Ignored in previous regimes, and but you are showing that we are important, shows that the people of Kenya are important. And particularly we want to thank you so much for giving us the political backing that we needed while dealing with this menace of alcohol, because it is a killer.
For now, we are proud that 1.5 years is gone, and now we are left with some few years, and we undertake to maintain peace. We undertake to continue passing relevant and productive bills.
Gachagua has now called on other leaders from the region and across the country to follow suit in the efforts to save the youth from imminent destruction from drugs.
We invite all to support this initiative to restore dignity in our youth, who are the main target of dishonest and heartless, ruthless business people. On this note, I wish to thank the media for creating awareness on the killer brews and highlighting alternatives of keeping our nation sane and sober.
However, various stakeholders and investors in Mary County have recently rejected the proposed Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill 2023, noting that the county already has an act on the same. Gachagua meanwhile backed President Ruto's transformational agenda on providing affordable housing to Kenyans, stating that it will provide job opportunities for the Kenyan youth.
I know all of you would want to stop paying rent. One day ukuwe na nyumba unasema hapa ni kwangu. Hata wale wanakunywa moja mbili ya kutafuta usingizi, akielekea kwake akikaribia anasema mimi naingia kwangu. Lakini wewe sema namna hiyo kama umekodisha kwa mtu mwingine. Labda atakuuliza wewe unasema ni kwako, ulijenga wapi? Number 3 in that program is to create jobs for our young people. One house an average of between 6 to 10 people.
In efforts to eradicate alcoholism and drug addiction in the country, Nyandarua County government has passed the Alcoholic Drinks Control Bill 2023 in efforts to curb the menace affecting the youth in the area. Reporting for TV Newswatch, I'm Gloria Musimbi.
Thank you so much, Gloria, for that report. Moving on, and President William Ruto has weighed in on the ongoing 2027 Mount Kenya succession politics, terming it as an insult to Kenyans. Speaking today in Gilgil, Nakuru County, the president said leaders should not waste time by engaging in politics, but instead on focusing on what they were elected to do. President Ruto's remarks come amidst an ongoing political debate where a section of leaders from the central region have endorsed Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro to serve as President William Ruto's deputy in 2027.
Mimi sitaki kusema mambo mingi, ile siasa naendelea, mwachana na siasa. Kazi ni hii. You know, let me say, those who want to lead, hii vijana wakikufa wote utaongoza nani? Come, kwanza tuokoe generation. Then unaweza kujipanga nao huko mbele, isn't it? If these young people are all dead, wamepoteza vitambulisho, wanalala kwa mtaro, wewe unataka kuongoza, utaongoza hawa, utaongoza nani? There will be nobody to lead. Let us first preserve this generation. And let us not be transfixed with the childish politics of succession, of elections. We have barely come from elections. 1.5 years. People want service. Watu wanataka kuhudumiwa, watu wanataka kujua mambo ya barabara, mambo ya ukulima, mambo ya stima, mambo ya maziwa. Sasa mambo ya uchaguzi ni tuachane na hiyo maneno. I want to appeal to everybody, more so in our region, which people look a little bit confused. Let us focus on service delivery, and we want this region of ours, all this region, to be united under President William Ruto.
Your Excellency, is to appreciate you that you have taken a broad step. You are focused more on generation, not on election. The other day, that is last year, you stood and you said that we have to we as the leaders, we have to lead from the front to talk against recruitment of our young men and girls to Mungiki. And Your Excellency, we are telling you, we as Mount Kenya MCAs, we are behind you as grassroots leaders to make sure we eradicate Mungiki from our areas so that we can have a formidable youth who can be reliable to this country.
Now, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has questioned Mumias East Member of Parliament, Peter Salasia, of an alleged assault on MCA Peter Walunya. Salasia presented himself at the EACC headquarters on Tuesday morning for grilling, where he said that he respects the mandate of the authority as enshrined in the Constitution. Now, as Charles Njenga now reports, Salasia was accompanied by his advocates, urged the anti-corruption body to apply the law in equal measure when probing public government officials' integrity.
Mumias East Member of Parliament Peter Salasia today appeared before the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission for grilling over integrity issues. After recording a statement at the EACC headquarters, the Member of Parliament has asked the Commission to practice impartiality while dealing with government officials. The Member of Parliament highlighted that he is the first legislator to be summoned by the Commission over integrity issues.
Nasema ya kwamba hii mambo ya vitengo ya EACC lazima zitumike on equal basis. Usione ya kwamba ule mwingine anaitwa na ule mwingine. I'm the only member of parliament ama kiongozi wa kwanza atikuletwa mbele ya EACC na maneno ya assault, allegation ya assault. Na maneno ya assault na conduct na mambo ya ethics, hiyo ni maneno ya appointing authority. Na appointing authority ya maneno ya kuangalia menendo ya mbunge ni mwananchi ndio yako na nguvu ya hiyo maneno. So kwa hivyo ndio tunasema ya kwamba sisi tutaheshimu katiba na tutaheshimu katiba, lakini vitengo ya serikali, we will not accept any institution to intimidate other hardworking young people like Peter Salasia. There are many things that have been going. I will not comment on that, but we will say that the law should be all equal to everybody.
Mumias East Member of Parliament Peter Salasia's woes began on January 12th after a video of him physically assaulting an MCA Peter Walunya in Dimuli during a funeral service made rounds on social media. During the event, Salasia, who was addressing mourners, repeatedly implored the MCA to sit down, and when he failed to comply, proceeded to slap him, which was captured on camera. Following the incident, Salasia was arrested, arraigned in court, and released on a 50,000 shillings bond after denying charges leveled against him. The Ethics and Anti-Graft Body EACC summoned the first-time lawmaker to appear before its commissioners for grilling over integrity issues. Advocate Beata Wavinya, who is representing the lawmaker, alongside other advocates who accompanied him, declined to comment on the matter, noting that it is currently in court.
The matter is before the court. We respect the authority of the court, and we are not going to comment about the matter until the completion of this process.
While addressing the media, EACC spokesperson Eric Ngumbi urged public officials to adhere to the code of conduct that governs how public officials are expected to conduct themselves in public.
And based on the outcome of the probe, then the Commission will determine if there was indeed a violation of the law. The conduct of state officials is governed by the law, and therefore it is incumbent upon all the state officials to conduct themselves, whether in public life or in their private life, in a manner that accords to the standards that are set under Chapter 6 of the Constitution. Chapter 6 of the Constitution requires the state officials to at all time behave in a manner that does not erode public confidence in the offices that they hold, a manner that is consistent with the dignity of the offices that they hold, and a manner that demonstrates respect for the people. So it is in relation to those provisions of the Constitution that the Commission gets involved in matters of this nature.
Ngumbi said the outcome of the probe will determine whether there was a violation of the law. Section 11 of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Act 2011 empowers the Commission to work with other state and public offices in the development and promotion of standards and best practices in integrity and anti-corruption, and to advise on its own initiative any person or any matter within its functions. Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Tess Njenga.
Thank you so much, Tess, for that report. Still at it, and the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has arrested and questioned two Nairobi County officials known as Daniel Odidi Ganje, the officer in charge of the data office at St. Peter's Clever's Revenue Offices in Sarehe Sub-County, and John Gachagua Mburu, a student attached at the offices from the Mount Kenya University. The two spent yesterday night in the cells at Kimani police station awaiting further processing today. The two were arrested last week on Thursday for the involvement in diversion of county resources through manipulation of the Nairobi Revenue Services portal to fraudulently reflect full payment.
Leaders in Kenya Kwanza, leaders in UDA, I want to ask them to step down any contestations for whatever positions, present or future, so that we can work together, focus on delivering to the people of Kenya, ensure that we keep our promise to the people of Kenya, so that we can discharge our commitments and the people of Kenya can see us for who we are as leaders who are looking into the future. Na wauliza viongozi wote, na mimi na huyu Rigiji, tuko na mpango, tunaelewa. Sisi tulisema, mimi na Rigiji tulisema, hata hawa vijana wengine wadogo wadogo hawa tutawapatia mentorship. Lakini tukiwapatia mentorship, waende polepole, wasitusukume sana. Si ndio? Si tuko tayari, tumesema tutamenta hawa vijana. So wasituharakishe, wala unajua wakituharakisha sasa wataharibu maneno.
Now, Nyanza Regional State Corporation's directors have met today to discuss plans to effectively support President William Ruto's government agenda and network in the corporations they represent in the region. Speaking to the media, the directors also pledged to work together and their authorities accordingly. They have also urged the Nyanza residents to ignore the rumors being peddled by the opponents and focus on the development projects accomplished. Our reporter Nelias Wanjiru attended the meeting and filed the following story.
Nyanza Region State Corporation directors have held a meeting to express their appreciation to President William Ruto for electing them to lead their respective state corporations and pledge to continue supporting him fully in all his projects.
For the benefit.
Led by their chair, Dave Carlo, the leaders have anonymously agreed to support the government's agenda and spread the UDA politics to Nyanza residents despite the region being ODM stronghold politically.
Are you ready?
They have also continued to urge the members of the public to ignore the propaganda being spread by the opposition leaders on the president development projects.
Naunga mkono serikali na tumejitoa na tumekubali kuunda vuguvugu hili la kushiriki na wanasiasa wengine na kuendeleza maendeleo na kuona kuwa Nyanza haibaki nyuma na inakuwa kipaumbele, kuona kuwa tunafanikisha matakwa ya serikali na ile inaitwa agenda ya serikali ya Kenya Kwanza ambao ni bottom up agenda.
Opposition is taking the advantage because people don't know. We know the president is doing so much. Like for instance, in the youth, in empowering the youth, we've seen he's creating employment through the project, the housing project, the digital program that he has rolled out, where
the women directors who are present, led by Rebecca Agati, the director for the Lake Basin Authority in Kisumu, said they are preaching unity in diversity and unity of purpose, adding that the Nyanza region has more than 350 members who has recently joined the UDA. Purity Oraki, who is the director at Bomas, added that the government is doing so much in development and fulfilling their promises. She lamented that Nyanza people have been fed with the misinformation to discredit the government's efforts, citing the development project in housing, employment and digital platforms and programs offered by the government. The Nyanza State Corporation directors have also urged Kenyans to be patient with the Kenyan Kwanza government as they are set to implement their agenda.
We are promising in front of the media. I am coming from Siaya, and in Siaya, that is the core county of opposition. But we want to go to the grassroots and just to sell our agenda as UDA with the blessings of our CSS, as has been mentioned, Bwana Machogu, Bwana CS Owalo.
They have made us to become one, and they've made us realize the meaning and the agenda of today, or of being directors of the government. So we are only confirming and affirming that so far so good. We have had a resolution on how we are going to work together and make our people feel that the government is in place.
The directors represented Migori, Kisii, Nyamira, and Migori counties. The directors have meanwhile urged the president to consider the gender role in appointing the directors come phase 2 of this practice.
We will also at all times support what the agenda that our government has put in place. So we have agreed to work in unity, because when all of us come together, great things happen.
Neyles Wanjiru reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, Nairobi.
Thank you, Nelias, for that report. Following weeks of continued attacks on the judiciary by President William Ruto of alleged corruption that led to the talks between the executive and the judiciary to solve the standoff, a cross-section of Kenyans have today voiced varied opinions on the meeting. Hope TV spoke with some residents of Nairobi, and here are their sentiments.
Serikali na mahakama naona iishe tu, watu waendelee tu na hii mambo yaende, heshima idumu ama. Alafu sasa mahakama si ndio maamuzi ya mwisho. Ruto ati bana, Ruto ati.
Kulingana na venye nchi imekuwa, kazi imekuwa so difficult. Nasikia kuna mzozano kati ya baina ya serikali na mahakama. Sasa naona Ruto alikuwa ameitana kwa mkutano. Sidhani kama venye mahakama imejitenga na serikali, sioni kama kuna venye watafanya kazi pamoja. Ni kwa sababu Kama juzi nimesikia Kasavu akisema hata serikali inafaa mahakama wanafaa wachukuange maoni kwa serikali, kwa Wakenya. So na kama mahakama haitaki hivyo, ndivyo ni vizuri. Alikuwa anasema pia sisi tuko na maoni yetu. Venye serikali inafaa ipitishe pia venye hawa mahakama inataka ipitishe, pia sisi tunafaa kuwa tunaulizwa. Si unastukia kitu ishapitishwa. So venye naweza sema ni kama venye Ruto anasema aitane mkutano ya kusaidia watu. Na kama watasikizana ni sawa. Ndio tusonge mbele. Vitu zishuke na maisha isonge vizuri.
Tunajua serikali ndio viongozi wenye wametuongoza. Kitu ya kwanza tunafaa tuwapee kwanza heshima na tuwapee wakati kwanza. Hata mtoto akizaliwa saa hizi hakuangi na meno, for sure. Hakuangi na meno. So wakati mtoto anazaliwa ndio anaendelea kukua, meno inatokea, anaanza kutembea, anaanza kuongea, kuitana baba, mama. So wapewe muda, serikali ipewe muda. Hata yeye mwenyewe macho nyingi inamwangalia, na hata yeye mwenyewe ako na stress pia. Sio sisi peke yetu, na yeye ndiye ako na stress kutuliko. Hata kama tuna hustle, ni president wetu tulimchagua. So nafaa tumpe muda. Mimi naomba tumpe muda. Ingekuwa ni mimi ningempea muda wa kutosha. Juu najua atakuja kutengeneza. Hii ni kutengeneza, anatengeneza, isipokuwa wengi hawaelewi.
Parents and pupils of Oloisokonyo Primary in Narok North Sub-County on the school head teacher Nicholas Manuele transferred over poor performance posted by the school in the last year's Kenya Certificate of Primary Education. They alleged that the school headmaster, who has been in the school for the last 4 years, has been engaging in other farming businesses instead of concentrating in the management of the school. And as Alice Diana now reports, a few cases of teacher harassment over claims of poor candidate performance have been witnessed in some schools since the 2023 KCSE results were released, with the Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu terming this as unacceptable.
Despite Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu warning parents against invading schools over poor performance, parents and pupils of Oloisokonyo Primary in Narok North Sub-County now want the school's head teacher removed from that school following the school's poor performance in 2023 KCPE. The angry mob broke into the head teacher's house and removed all his belongings, saying they did not want him to ever step foot in the school compound. They lamented that though the school is old, covering about 50 acres of land, the academic performance has been deteriorating as the head teacher has been busy concentrating on his farming business.
Ile shida ambayo imefanya tukue walalamishi hii leo ni ile matokeo ya mtihani ya mwaka uliopita. Hii shule ilikuwa na 1.2, 1.9. Na hii shule ina zaidi ya ekari 40 ya shamba. Walimu na pamoja na komiti ambayo iko hii shule wamechukua jukumu la kufanya ukulima kushinda kufanya jukumu ya kufunza watoto wetu. Saa hizi ukiona saa hizi tunapozungumza total population ya wanafunzi ambao wako kwa hii shule hawajafika 200. Na ni eneo ambalo iko na wanafunzi zaidi ya 1000, na sisi kama wazazi tumechukua jukumu la kuwapeleka watoto pahali pengine watafute maisha mzuri na masomo bora, kwa sababu hapa tumekosa.
Jackson Toruan, a former board member of the school, wondered why the head teacher charges the pupils money, yet they have large school farm where they produce maize, carrots and peas for sale. Another parent, Monica Tago, recalled that few years ago, the school used to perform well and ranked among the best in the zone. However, the situation has changed since the current head teacher joined the school.
As I was the former chairman of this school, the school is maybe surrounded 40 acres, and yet each of and every acre is being done plantation, of which our main argument here is why can a headmaster charge us board teachers, and yet the school is earning their own resources through farming.
Hii ni shule kubwa, ingefaa primary, ingefaa secondary. Hii ni shule kubwa zaidi ya eka 50. Hii ni shule kubwa sana, ingefaa kila kitu. Sasa imekuwa mashamba ya kulimia manywele. Akiuza, uwezi muona wiki mzima anachukua baga naenda. Hatutaki manywele. Tumesumbuka. Watoto wasurure kuni, hiyo mamustuni yote ni watoto wanavunja kuni. Wanaenda maji, wanakuja wanalima. tumekataa.
Karan Saningo, a former teacher in the school, alleged that the school head teacher has collaborated with the board of governors to sabotage the school, yet they make themselves rich with the money they collect from the farm.
Kuna shida kama wasasi pamoja na walimu kulingana na venye huyu mwalimu Mr. Manuel amekuwa kirani shule. Hii shule ni kama imekuwa yake pamoja na chama. Naweza sema hivyo. Kwa sababu hata mkiona ushuhuda, mkiona tangi kwa hapa, hii tangi ni andimama kitambo sana. Alafu sasa wamependa wameandika eti hao ndio walitengeneza 2023 last year. That is shame, a very big shame to them. Ukiona pale kuna choo wamejenga zaidi ya miaka 3 na wamekuwa wakipanda mashamba hapa, wanakata mangano, wanauza makarot. Hakuna kitu kingine ya maana wanafanya. Kitu ya maana wanafanya ni kupeleka kwao, wanaenda kufanyia vitu vyao huko.
Last week, Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu warned that the government will not hesitate to prosecute parents and local community living near schools for harassing head teachers while purporting to be protesting poor performance in the national examination. Machogu warned that any such invasion will be treated as a criminal act. The CS added that any stakeholder who will be aggrieved by perceived poor performance of schools in national examinations should follow legal means to report to relevant authorities for action. Alice Diana, Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you so much, Alice, for that report. Now, it is a sigh of relief for Tana River flood victims as the county governor, Godana Dado, today flagged off relief aid to victims affected by the floods in Hola, an initiative courtesy of the International Organization of Migration. This, as a relocation of administrative offices and security facilities, is ongoing, as the county and national government have partnered in the quest to put up learning institutions and health centers elsewhere. Social facilities have also been shut down in the flooding areas.
Kwa hapa kwa flag off hii msaada ambayo imeletwa na wafadhili wetu, watu wa IOM, ambao ni mchango kutoka kwa serikali ya Japan na Korea, kuja kusaidia wale ambao wameathiriwa kwa mafuriko. Na hapa mnaona hizi ni baadhi ya misaada ambayo sasa imeshapakiliwa na inaelekea kwa zile sehemu wakimbizi wako. Kuna hapa 1,400, hizo ni sanitary kits ambazo zingine tushafanya kugawanya kidogo hapa na zinaenda hizo sehemu tofauti. Pia kuna chakula, pia kuna shelter materials na vitu vingine ambavyo tunasema NFIs, non-food items.
Well, it's now time for a quick commercial break, but immediately after the short breather, we go straight into the interview on the International Day of Education. Stick around.
I've actually been trying to find a balance. It's been really tough and hectic, but everyone says once you get a hang of it, it becomes better, and I don't know, but I'm hoping to find a balance soon because it's really been hectic. But you've been in the job industry for a long time, so I think you would know better. Cindy?
Huh? What time is it? I need to catch up on Leadership Forum. Did they have a radio here? Never mind. I brought my own.
No way. You can't be serious. Wait, why do you have a radio and you can just catch up with the shows on Hope FM podcasts?
Really? Even Meet of the One?
Yeah. I mean, you can find them on whatever platform, name it. AfriPods, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it.
But I'm not subscribed on any of them.
So no worries. You can just check out the latest episodes on hopemediakenya.org.
You can now listen to select Hope FM programs on your favorite podcast streaming platform or directly on our website, www.hopemediakenya.org. Listen and live.
So this parent
He calls me, sits after service and says, young man, you do not know what you've done, because tells me that my son comes and tells me that, Dad, I have also been struggling with ABCD. His was a mix of alcohol and pornography. And just hearing Justo on Route 104, a fellow young person like me, give his testimony on how God has moved in his life. And I requested to meet the young man, and we met over coffee, became good friends. And I told him as well, listen, by me sharing does not mean, because the devil puts banana peels all over. Scripture tells us that, no weapon fashioned against you shall prosper. It doesn't say that weapons will not be fashioned. No, it says no weapon. It means weapons will be fashioned. And he will put traps all over. Right from your phone. You open Instagram, you see an image. And all of a sudden, it plays back. All those things. So that's another, because the battle is in the mind. That is why Paul says in Romans 12:1, not be conformed by the patterns of the world, but rather be transformed by the renewing of the mind. He knows it's here. The devil knows. And this guy is millions of years old. He's not our age mate. For those who remember when I used to tell us that on IT, he's not your age mate. Stop saying at you, me, I know at you have been saved for 15 years. Dude, the devil has been in existence for millions of years. So guess what? He knows everything about you. Okay? But greater is he that is in you than he was. We walked together, and I'm happy to say that he found his deliverance. And he became also a peer champion, as it is, an educator. And for me, those are some of the things that, wow, without Hope FM, really the platform of Hope FM, and as Reverend Tomboy used to tell us as well, this is a platform not for you, but God is using you. The initiative Friends of Hope is more or less like what Romans 10:17 says, that faith comes only by the hearing, and hearing through the word of God. But how will they hear if somebody does not go to tell them? Think about that Muslim brother or sister who, because of you being a friend of hope and supporting with your 100 bob or whatever it is, that in Friday evening, by chance, they listen to Yesu Ndianjia. And then because of you supporting and being a friend of hope, the message will reach them in Zanzibar, in Mombasa, in whatever it is. Mimi ni Rafiki Mso. I'm a friend of hope. I'm just as Zawaka. I would like for you pia ukwe Rafiki Mso.
Africa International University takes pride in being at the forefront of producing Christ-centered leaders, transforming Africa and the world. At AIU, we lead, we innovate, we inspire, and we are a family bound by a common goal of transforming the world. There is no better time to think about your career transformation in an international community. Our intakes are in January, May, and September and are currently ongoing. Embark today on an exciting and life-building academic journey by enrolling in our diverse certificates, diplomas, bachelor's, postgraduates, master's, or PhD programs. Africa International University, a university in the heart of Africa, with Africa on its heart.
Welcome back. Now, tomorrow, that is the 24th of January, the world will be commemorating the International Day of Education, with the theme being Learning for Lasting Peace. Now, in studio, I'm now joined by Penina Jerono, a Child Protection and Safeguarding Program Officer at the World Vision Kenya, who will help us have an overview on Kenya's education sector. Karibu sana to the studio.
Thank you.
Penina, what's the significance of the World Education Day?
Thank you so much, Kimani. Tomorrow marks the World International Education Day.
Yeah.
And this celebration is usually annually, and this is the 6th celebration. So the theme of the year is learning, learning for peace. So, and we are focusing on transformative education. When you talk about peace, this is informed by UNESCO, and this is as a result of the different forms of violence that has been occurring, that is ranging from racism, ranging from the different violence in the gender, and also other forms of violence. So this year, it marks, it's about peace. So that is what informs us, and education being transformative, it means that it influences an individual behavior, attitude, and also character, so that even as we focus on this particular day, it will inform of how an individual is, or how an individual is geared towards, or when someone is taken through education, as I've said, it changes the behavior, the attitude, and also it influences one. So especially for those communities or different individuals, that is the children and also the youth who are in conflict-prone areas.
All right. And how does this contribute maybe to the global awareness about education?
Thank you, Kimani. For the global awareness, we know that education is fundamental human right, and according to the Children's Act in Kenya, just narrowing down to Kenya, education is one of the most fundamental human rights. So denying a child or even a youth education, that means it's injustice to them. So as we continue celebrating this day, it just reminds us of how the world is changing, how the world is shaping towards education and also towards transforming lives.
All right. Now, can you highlight maybe any successful initiatives or projects that actually demonstrate the positive impact of education on sustainable development?
Thank you so much. I'll just narrow it down to World Vision Kenya. And just to mention that World Vision Kenya is in alignment with the Sustainable Development Goal. That is the fourth Sustainable Development Goal about quality education. And for us as World Vision, we have different projects and programs that are aligned towards sustainable education for all children. And one of the projects that implements that, we have a project called Tumikia Mtoto. We have also community engagement sponsorship program. And also we have a Kenya Big Dream program. Just to talk a little bit about Kenya Big Dream program. It's a child protection program, and when you talk about children, we also talk about education because children face different situations depending on the different contexts that we have. And one of the goals of Kenya Big Dream program is to end FGM, child marriage, and other forms of violence. And this one we do through transforming the lives of children, that is ensuring they become constructive citizens. And when we are talking about being constructive citizens, here we mean that it's empowerment. We empower them academically, we empower them in terms of life skills, and also we empower them in terms of becoming constructive citizens so that the future of Kenya can grow and have constructive people.
Yeah, you've talked about the project that you're handling at World Vision, and maybe can you share maybe specific examples of regions or communities facing educational challenges and maybe the efforts that are being made to address these challenges?
Okay, so for the communities that World Vision serve, majorly we target the vulnerable communities, we target the marginalized, we also look at the poverty index, we also look at the illiteracy level. And narrowing down to the program that I've just mentioned about in the Big Dream program, we work in 4 counties, that is in West Pokot, in Baringo, in Samburu, and also in Migori. So we have had different interventions relating to education and to enhance peace. And just looking at these areas and looking at the context of these areas, you find that the issues of peace come in, because when you look at areas like Samburu, we have issues of cattle wrestling. When you look at West Pokot, when you look at Baringo, they're the same issues. So for our program, we have had different interventions targeting the children and also the education sector. And this is through partnership with the government, with the Department of Education, and also other stakeholders, both the state and the non-state actors. So just to mention a few projects that we have been doing, which enhances education. First of all, we have had construction of schools, and this is not just for World Vision alone or for Kenya Big Dream program, but it's in partnership with the government, whereby we have conversations with the government so that they can help in assessing the schools and also the areas and the priorities of need. Because if we don't have schools, it means that children will not go to school, they will not have a place. Another thing that we are doing, we are also offering school subsidies for the vulnerable children, because that is what keeps them at home. And when children stay at home, both boys and girls, it means that they're susceptible to the harmful cultural practices in these communities, and also to issues relating to cattle rustling, just looking at the context of these specific areas. So we offer subsidy to the children to ensure that they transit from one level to another. Another initiative that we do, we also offer dignity kits. Dignity kit is a pack of a kit which contains personal belongings, and more so for the girls, especially the sanitary pads to keep the girls in school. Boys are not also left behind, because we also want to have the boys in school and not only the girls. So we are focusing on both genders, just to ensure that education is for all, so that we don't have one gender that is lagging behind. For example, if we don't have boys in school, as I'd mentioned earlier, it means that they can be susceptible to cattle rustling and other harmful practices. If the girls don't go to school, it means that they will get married early, so we'll have child marriage, we'll have teenage pregnancies, and we'll have a society with a vicious cycle of poverty. So just to end this, we empower both the boys and also the girls. Another initiative that we are doing, we are also offering life skills to the children, just to ensure that they know how to live a holistic life, how to be constructive citizens, as I said, in future, and how to contribute even to the sustainable development goals that we have. Another thing that we do, or another initiative that we offer as Kenya Big Dream program in regards to education, is that we offer community engagements and meetings, because at the end of the day, these children are in the community, and we also need to empower the community, because in the communities that we work, for example, in Samburu, in West Pokot, you'll find that the illiteracy level is high. So we want to cultivate that culture of education and having the children and also the parents know the importance of education, so that they'll become citizens who are constructive, and will have a future generation that is empowered. So we have community engagements, and we not only engage the parents, but we also have other leaders, both the state and the non-state actors in all this, just to ensure that we also bring in the issue of peace, because as I said, education is transformative. So that one involves changing the beliefs, the children gaining the skills, changing the attitude, and also how people live. So there's a way in which when a person grows, they're cultivated into knowing this is the way of life, and there's no any other. But when we talk about education with the community, with the children, with other stakeholders, it gives us a platform to transform the community and to ensure that we have sustainable peace, so that these children can be catalysts for peace in future in their community.
All right, so Kimani, you've actually mentioned some of the regions that have been affected by cattle rustling, mostly in the Kerio Valley, and actually for the better part of last year, most of the schools were closed, and we actually saw the Interior Cabinet Secretary, Kithure Kindiki, early this year travel to the region and promised that the schools will be reopened, and the government began rehabilitation program for the schools. Now, I mean, there's a lot that is happening, but how do we actually measure the success and the impact of education initiatives, and maybe what are the key indicators that should be considered?
Okay, so the key indicators that should be considered is the transition rate. Actually, when children start the PP1 or the ECD level, they're usually, the number is high, but by the time they're getting to grade 8, the number are low. So by looking at the transition rates, we can be able to measure the success or the impact. And also, we can also look at the teacher-pupil ratio, so that you can be able to inform us how many children do we have in school, and is it adequate also for the learners. Just to mention a program that we're implementing called accelerated learning. So this is basically taking out of school children to school. And you'll find that these mostly are children who are of age. Some of them, as we can call in other communities, morans, who are young adults, maybe between the age of 14 to 15 and have not attended school. So you see, this one affects the transition rate and the number of children who are enrolled in school. So we have accelerated learning program whereby we have these children on board in school, and after a period of time, let's say 6 months, they're assessed depending on the different capabilities, and they're placed at different levels. So this one also informs by the number of children who are enrolled in schools, because from a community you can be able to know the number of children in the community versus the number of children who are enrolled and those who are out of school. So these are some of the factors that can be used to measure success.
Let me pick your mind on the teacher-pupil ratio. We've actually seen stories from the northeastern part of the country whereby teachers are actually protesting to be removed from those areas because of the insecurity. I mean, how do you think maybe the government as a stakeholder, how can the government address this issue?
Okay, so maybe because of insecurity, as you've mentioned, that is why teachers want to be removed from there. But as a stakeholder, we know that education is a human right, it's fundamental to all. So maybe the government can just look on how they place the teachers so that they can ensure that there's no mass movement of the teachers or wanting to get out of the area because of insecurity, so that we can have children who have adequate teacher-pupil ratio, because at the end of the day, if they don't go to those areas, who will teach these children? Yeah.
Interesting. Now, as a stakeholder, Penina, I mean, what are the key priorities and goals for the future, maybe of the education in the country?
Okay, so the key priorities for education in the future, I can say that it's about going digital, and that is internet. As we saw during COVID time, it was really difficult, and it posed a huge challenge, which also led to other issues affecting children. So if we can go digital, if we can have the internet and digitalized way of reaching the children, even in the remote areas, that will be a plus in the education sector, so that we can be able to reach a wide coverage of children, even amidst maybe disasters or even conflicts. We can have continuity in the education sector.
All right. And do you think there are actually emerging trends or strategies that you believe will shape the future landscape of education, maybe on local, regional, and global scale?
Yeah, so looking at the global scale, as I've mentioned, things are going digital. So we need to have such platforms so that it can shape the future. And also looking at innovative ways. I won't touch much on that, but just to mention CBC, looking at such areas whereby you can look at improving the skills and the knowledge of the children. So those are the future prospects that can help addressing education and also going globally, so that we just don't produce based on papers, but we also have skills, hands-on skills, and also look at the different digital platforms whereby children can be involved and engaged.
I mean, the International Day of Education, not much public awareness has been done. And, you know, we celebrate many days, but this is one of the days that is, I can say, it's not really commemorated as it should be, and yet education is a very key factor in the society. I mean, what do you think needs to be done for people to actually advocate for education for all?
Okay. So I think advocacy, that is the way to go. Advocacy at different levels, that is from the national levels and also to the county levels and up to the community. So when we advocate for education, it means that the information will be reached. And advocacy can be done through engagements with the stakeholders, that is at the national, who influence policy. We can have engagements at the county levels, also with the relevant stakeholders and also the communities and different stakeholders that we serve. So when you have advocacy, even through the media, on importance of education, that can be through the local radio stations and also the other media stations. If we have such advocacy, we can be able to get all the people on board and know that Education Day, International Education Day is commemorated, and it's very important. Yeah.
And recently you actually seen a trend from many people are actually not opting to go for university education, but to go to the technical institutions to get the skills. I mean, is it a trend that is actually, because actually we've seen many jobless graduates and people actually now opting to go for the technical skills. I mean, what's your take on that?
My take on that is that, yes, we all have different capacities, capabilities. So depending on your capability and capacities, actually the technical skills even offers a better job market. So for those who go to the universities and colleges, and for those who go to the technical ones and the vocational training, my take on that is that it's a plus, because either the youth or the adult knows his or her strength. So it's really good because job market there, it's really expanding and it's becoming diverse. So when we have different capabilities, different capacities, then we are shaping the future.
Well, let's conclude. Maybe what's your parting shot?
My parting shot, just like I'll echo the message or the words of Nelson Mandela, and he said that education is the best weapon to conquer the world. So I call upon all the stakeholders, all the policy influencers, all the people, both the state and the non-state actors, to contribute effectively in quality education and also to enhance future generations so that we can have a peaceful society and a learning environment that is peaceful for children. Yeah.
That's a very good point to end it there. Education is the best weapon to conquer the world. That has been Penina Jerono, a Child Protection and Safeguarding Program Officer. The World Vision Kenya, who has helped us to have an overview of Kenya's education sector and what to do as a country moving forward. On behalf of the whole team that made this bulletin a success, have yourselves a blessed night. My name is Kennedy Kimani.
Hello there, praise the name of the Lord. My name is Evelyn Wanjuro. To get Naiwe Maombi as your skiza tune, SMS skiza 8830022 to 811. Hope Skiza, spreading the hope.
Africa International University takes pride in being at the forefront of producing Christ-centered leaders, transforming Africa and the world. At AIU, we lead, we innovate, we inspire, and we are a family bound by a common goal of transforming the world. There is no better time to think about your career transformation in an international community. Our intakes are in January, May, and September and are currently ongoing. Embark today on an exciting and life-building academic journey by enrolling in our diverse certificates, diplomas, bachelor's, postgraduates, master's, or PhD programs. Africa International University, a university in the heart of Africa, with Africa on its heart.
Envision a future where you enjoy the things that truly matter to you. At Enwealth Capital Limited, we are committed to making this future a reality for you. Invest in the N-Wealth Money Market Fund, meticulously crafted to help you achieve your financial aspirations from as little as 1,000 Kenyan shillings. Visit www.nwealth.co.ke/capital or call 0700-617-443 for more information. N-Wealth, for a better tomorrow. N-Wealth Capital Unit Trust Scheme is approved by Capital Markets Authority, which does not take responsibility for the financial soundness of the scheme. Prices of shares and income may fluctuate, and the right to redeem shares may be suspended.